In 1995, New Jersey Drive showed us reckless youth, speeding cars, and an unjust system. But 30 years later, the cast faces a series of devastating tragedies, from disappearances and broken marriages to sudden deaths. Where are they now and what are they doing? Let's explore their lives today. Sharon Corley as Jason Petty. Sharon Corley was born on May 26, 1973, in Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York. At age 22, he played Jason Petty, a thrill-seeking teenager addicted to car theft in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. This role placed Corley at the emotional center of the film, embodying the character's intense anger and unstable energy. That emotional intensity gave the film a sense of realism and subtly shaped how audiences remember it. That realism didn't come solely from imagination. Corley grew up in an environment of poverty, crime, and persistent social tension, conditions that shaped his introverted personality long before cameras existed. Survival took precedence over dreams, and initially, acting was not an ambition but rather an escape for him. That hardened experience flowed naturally onto the screen, first in small roles like Juice, and later in television roles such as New York Undercover. But authenticity didn't protect him from the harsh realities of the film industry. Despite receiving critical acclaim for New Jersey Drive, box office failure stalled his career. Opportunities narrowed, and although he appeared in projects like The Substitute and later Shadow Feather in 2016, none truly brought about a revival for him. The burden of untapped potential gradually pushed him away from the spotlight. Away from the cameras, his priorities shifted inward. Corley married Kaylee Corley in 2010, and together they raised 4 children, choosing a life away from public scrutiny. The financial pressures following his departure from mainstream acting are believed to have added to his stress, but he remained focused on protecting his family from the instability he once experienced. Now 55, Sharon Corley lives a quiet life outside of the entertainment industry. He hasn't pursued major acting projects in years, instead focusing on personal work and family life. His estimated net worth is $500,000, reflecting earnings from past acting and modest projects outside of Hollywood. His story ends not with scandal or redemption, but with deliberate silence. Gabriel Cassius Jongvai Midget. Gabriel Cassius was born on April 28, 1972, in New York City, New York. At age 23, he played Midget, Jason's loyal partner and best friend in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. This role brought vulnerability and tension to the film, balancing reckless arrogance with quiet fear and suspicion. That multifaceted performance earned him an Independent Spirit Award nomination and quickly established him as a rising talent of the era. Behind that recognition lay a difficult beginning. Growing up in Brooklyn in a family of Haitian immigrants, Cassius faced poverty, racial prejudice, and the constant presence of street violence. Those pressures honed his emotional awareness and made him sensitive to instability from a very young age. Acting became more of an escape than an ambition, a way to deal with reality instead of avoiding it. This was first demonstrated in roles such as Get on the Bus and later in Black Hawk Down. However, those initial promises couldn't translate into lasting fame. As opportunities from studios dwindled, career frustration gradually set in. Instead of waiting indefinitely, Cassius began to turn to writing, a decision driven more by survival than by comfort. That transition eventually led to him co-writing the script for Takers in 2010, giving him creative control even as he continued acting in series such as Grey's Anatomy, CS1, Miami, and 24. At the same time, his personal life became more demanding. Cassius married in the early 2000s, but the relationship ended in divorce, leaving him to face fatherhood amidst an uncertain career. The emotional burden of separation, combined with financial responsibilities, led him to withdraw further from the public spotlight and solidify his preference for working quietly behind the scenes. Now 54, Gabriel Cassius remains active in the entertainment industry, albeit less so in public. He continues to write, acts selectively, and develops television projects in his own unique way. His estimated net worth of $2 million reflects his perseverance and adaptability rather than sudden fame. His journey demonstrates that in some professions, survival, not fame, is the true achievement. Donald Faison Jongvai Tiny Dime. Donald Addison Faison was born on June 22, 1974, in Harlem, New York. At age 21, he played Tiny Dime, the group's best getaway driver, in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. This character brings speed, precision, and youthful courage to the film's criminal core, embodying exhilaration rather than despair. That presence balances the film's chaos with powerful energy and breathes life into the street story. That on-screen confidence was forged early on. Growing up in Harlem in a family with a strong artistic tradition but limited finances, Faison was surrounded by art while simultaneously witnessing the daily pressures of poverty and community violence. His parents' involvement in the Black National Theater exposed him to performing arts from a young age, but his ambition was more emotionally burdensome than glamorous. Acting became both an escape and a necessity, leading him to early roles in Sugar Hill and waiting to exhale before audiences truly recognized his potential. Faison's career finally took off after the film New Jersey Drive. He shot to fame with his role in Clueless in 1995, but it was his role as Dr. Chris Turk in Scrubs, from 2001 to 2010, that propelled him to stardom. His series of sitcoms earned him an NAACP Image Award nomination, financial stability, and lasting recognition, allowing him to easily switch between comedy and drama. Later projects like Remember the Titans, Skyline, and Extended Family, 2023 to 2024, solidified his ability to thrive across multiple genres. Behind that success, his personal life is emotionally complex. Faison became a father at a young age, then married Lisa Askey in 2001, with whom he had 3 children before divorcing in 2005. In 2012, he married Casey Cobb, building a family of 6 children. Askey's death from cancer in 2017 deeply affected him, forcing him to cope with grief while simultaneously shouldering the sudden responsibilities of fatherhood and maintaining his professional commitments. By 2026, Donald Faison will be 52 years old and still one of the most successful actors to emerge from the New Jersey Drive series. He continues to act, voice, do podcasts, and produce films, balancing creativity and stability rather than chasing innovation. His estimated net worth of $12 million reflects decades of consistent hard work, not overnight fame. His story is a rare exception. His survival led to a long life. Michelle Morgan as Corinne Tanisha. Michelle Morgan was born in 1970 in the United States. At the age of 25, she played Corinne, Midget's ex-girlfriend, in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. This role brought emotional implications to the criminal underworld in the film, showing how choices made on the streets can shatter relationships before destroying lives. Her presence softened the violence of the story through personal consequences, rather than ostentation. That emotional awareness stemmed from hardship. Morgan grew up in economically impoverished neighborhoods, facing gender discrimination and limited opportunities as a young Black woman. Music came to her first when she joined the all-female rap group BWP from 1989 to 1994. Using performing as a way to escape reality and assert her individuality, acting came naturally, and that early fame opened doors for her in the film New Jersey Drive, and later projects such as Bulworth. However, this momentum proved rather fragile. Morgan has appeared in films such as The Other Brother and had recurring roles in ER, along with guest appearances in The Steve Harvey Show and NYPD Blue. While her work has been fairly stable, the film industry rarely offers her roles that allow for real career advancement. Instead of growth, she's been stuck with repetitive, stable work without any change. Her personal life is quite private, reflecting her reserved approach to her work. After a series of quiet, unpublicized relationships, she married actor Tobias Truvillion in November 2012. The stability of her marriage contrasted sharply with the instability of her previous career, giving her the space to pause her constant auditions without completely withdrawing from the film industry. By 2026, Michelle Morgan will be 56 years old and occasionally appearing at industry events rather than pursuing a full-time acting career. Her estimated net worth is around $600,000, primarily derived from her previous film, television, and voice acting work. Her story reflects perseverance forged by restraint, a career sustained quietly without radical change or collapse. Christine Baranski as a prosecutor. Christine Jane Baranski was born on May 2, 1952, in Buffalo, New York. At age 43, she played the prosecutor, a sharp, uncompromising legal voice, interrogating Jason in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. Despite her brief appearance, this role brought authority and cold precision to the film's emotional turmoil. Her presence skillfully reinforced the core power imbalance in the story. That authority was forged through many hardships. Growing up in a poor Polish immigrant family and losing his father at an early age, Baranski endured persistent mental and financial pressure. The stage became both a refuge and a discipline, providing stability in the absence of stability in his life. Training at Juilliard demanded rigor and perseverance, but her first film opportunities came slowly and uncertainly. Her persistence reshaped her career. After years of balancing stage and screen, Baranski achieved breakthrough success with Sybil, winning an Emmy and redefining her image on television. Later, she reached new heights with her roles as Diane Lockhart in The Good Wife and The Good Fight, roles that combined intelligence, control, and moral complexity. Her roles in Chicago, Mamma Mia, and later Gilded Age solidified her reputation, evidenced by numerous Tony and Emmy awards. However, her personal life concealed quiet sorrows behind her professional success. Married to actor Matthew Cowles from 1983 until his death in 2014, Baranski endured profound grief while raising her two daughters. The loss reshaped her priorities, adding to her emotional restraint and the seriousness that became increasingly evident in her later roles. By 2026, Christine Baranski was 74 years old and remained a highly influential figure on television and in film. Despite experiencing some minor health issues due to age, she continued to work steadily, carefully selecting her roles rather than rushing into them. Her estimated net worth is $14 million, reflecting decades of outstanding dedication to stage, film, and television. Her legacy is not one of fleeting success, but of absolute mastery. Heavy D, whose real name is Bo Kane, played by Dwight Arrington Myers, was born on May 24, 1967, in Mandeville, Jamaica. At age 28, he played Bo Kane, a notorious local drug lord, in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. This role brought a real threat to the film's criminal ecosystem, shifting the threat from reckless youth to organized force. His imposing appearance and understated menace elevated the level of danger far beyond teenage rebellion. That intensity reflects his childhood. Heavy D grew up in migration between Jamaica and New York, influenced by immigration, poverty, and cultural alienation. Music became both a refuge and an aspiration, allowing him to assert his identity in unfamiliar spaces. This momentum led to commercial success with the band Heavy D and the Boys, and subsequently his dominance as the group's leader, winning numerous awards, including the Soul Train Award, while overcoming fierce competition in the music industry. As his music career flourished, acting came naturally as well. Heavy D appeared in film and television projects such as The Tracy Morgan Show, bringing the same charisma and authority that made him famous on stage. On screen, he displays restraint rather than ostentation, showing that he is an artist capable of doing more than just making cameo appearances. However, balancing so many different creative fields has added more pressure than relief. In his private life, Myers is very discreet. He never married but had a daughter, Zia Myers, whose presence was a source of emotional support, helping him through his demanding tours and performance schedules. Despite his public confidence and career success, the physical strain of touring, weight fluctuations, and relentless schedule had silently taken a toll on his health. On November 8, 2011, Heavy D died in Los Angeles at the age of 44 from a pulmonary embolism caused by deep vein thrombosis in his leg, officially ruled to be of natural cause. His estimated net worth at the time was around $350,000, a stark contrast to his cultural influence and reach. He is remembered not only as a performer, but also as a voice shaped by activism, struggle, and a life that ended too abruptly. Gwen McGee as Renee Petty. Gwen McGee was born in 1959 in Los Angeles, California. At age 36, she played Renee Petty, Jason's determined mother trying to pull her son back from a life of crime, in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. Her performance brought emotional depth to the film, portraying violence as a human cost that transcended the confines of the streets. Through her, the story found moral weight and a sense of its consequences. That quiet strength reflects her very background. Growing up in economically disadvantaged neighborhoods, McGee faced both racial and gender barriers as she pursued an acting career in a male-dominated industry. Opportunities were limited, and perseverance often ceded recognition. Early roles, such as in the 1986 film Wildcats, opened up many opportunities but rarely landed her leading roles, further solidifying a career built on endurance rather than fame. As her career progressed, McGee became known for emotionally rich supporting roles rather than star power. Roles in Days of Our Lives, Coach Carter, and Cradle to the Grave helped maintain her presence, even as financial instability remained a constant challenge. Her performance in New Jersey Drive garnered critical attention and respect, although it didn't deliver the breakthrough many had hoped for. Off-screen, her personal life demanded careful balancing. McGee married Anthony Coleman in 1988, facing the tension between career uncertainty and family responsibilities. An unstable work schedule and limited roles caused mental fatigue over time, forcing her to make difficult choices between stability and ambition. Gradually, personal happiness took precedence over the relentless pursuit of a career. Today, Gwen McGee is 67 years old and living a semi-retired life. She remains selective about her television and film projects, choosing roles carefully rather than chasing fame. Her estimated net worth of $1 million reflects a career sustained by resilience, not reputation. Her legacy lies not in fame, but in the emotional authenticity she consistently displayed on screen. Saul Stein as Roscoe. Saul Stein was born in 1953 in New York City. At the age of 42, he played Roscoe, a corrupt, obsessive police officer relentlessly pursuing a group of teenagers in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. This role brought a sense of threat and moral ambiguity to the film, portraying a powerful character obsessed more than with justice. His performance helped shift the story from a simple crime film into a confrontation with systemic power. That complexity stemmed from his own childhood experiences. Stein grew up in a Jewish family in New York, facing poverty and anti-Semitism, and soon realized that power could be both protective and threatening at the same time. These contradictions shaped his worldview long before he stepped in front of the camera. When he entered the film industry with the 1992 film Laws of Gravity, the intensity of his performance stemmed from real-life experiences, rooted in reality rather than mere acting. However, that authenticity became a double-edged sword. Stein was consistently cast in villainous roles and morally ambiguous characters, building a stable career through television and independent films while still struggling to break free from being typecast into a particular role type. Roles in series like The Deuce and Chicago PD brought him attention, but rarely propelled him to leading roles. Independent film festivals have recognized his work with smaller awards, but mainstream film recognition remains out of reach. Off-screen, Stein chose stability over glamour. He married and built a long-term relationship, balancing family life with a busy filming schedule that sometimes challenged that balance. Unlike many of his peers pursuing similar careers, he steered clear of public scandals, keeping personal conflicts private and separating them from his professional image. Now 73 years old, Saul Stein continues to act in supporting roles on television. His estimated net worth is $800,000, primarily derived from his stable, long-term television work, rather than from major projects. His career reflects perseverance rather than constant innovation, a quiet presence shaped by restraint, not by prominence. Roscoe Orman as Judge Roscoe Hunter. Orman was born on June 11, 1944, in New York City. At age 51, he played the judge, a calm but resolute figure who sentenced Jason in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. This role embodies institutional justice, calm and objective, a stark contrast to the chaos on the streets. His restrained performance highlighted the film's moral judgment rather than the action sequences, reminding viewers where true power ultimately lies. This sense of seriousness was formed early in his life. Orman grew up in Newark, New Jersey, in an environment of poverty and racial segregation, which exposed the gap between the promise of justice and the realities of life. As a young man, he turned to art not for fame, but for meaning in life. He found purpose in community theater and socially relevant storytelling. This path led him to serious theatrical productions, including Willie Dynamite, in 1974, where he depicted complex urban struggles long before the subject matter became mainstream. That reputation followed him to the final chapter of his career. In 1974, Orman joined Sesame Street as Gordon Robinson, a role he played for over 4 decades, and which earned him an Emmy Award for daytime programming, as well as international acclaim. Gordon became a symbol of stability, education, and quiet authority for generations of children. However, this role also narrowed the film industry's perception, implicitly limiting opportunities outside of television for families. Despite Orman's extensive acting and stage experience, his personal life also reflected similar resilience and responsibility. Ormond became the father of 5 children and later the grandfather of 8 grandchildren, balancing professional obligations and family life largely away from the spotlight. His divorce brought emotional strain, but he remained a model father, putting his family first, even as his public image remained closely tied to an iconic role. Now 82 years old and residing in New Jersey, Roscoe Ormond makes selective public appearances while focusing on activism, writing, and storytelling. His estimated net worth was $2 million, largely derived from his long tenure on the Sesame Street show and related ventures. His legacy lies not in innovation or flashy performances, but in steadfastness shaped by purpose and social conscience. Andre Moore as Richie. Andre Moore was born in 1970 in the United States. At around the age of 25, he played Richie, Jason's hot-tempered rival, in the 1995 film New Jersey Drive. This role intensified the film's internal conflicts, shifting the danger from a police chase to a personal vendetta. His performance highlighted the inevitability of the story, making the violence more personal than abstract. That tension reflected his personal growth. Moore grew up in Newark, a place rife with street violence and instability, leaving her with lasting psychological trauma. Acting offered a brief escape, a way to channel her anger instead of absorbing it. Her early roles in short films led her to New Jersey Drive. But the emotional burden of portraying hostility reflected the pressures of real life, rather than being a release. As acting opportunities faded, Moore faced a difficult turning point. The momentum in Hollywood never arrived, forcing him to confront career disappointment early in his adulthood. Instead of remaining stagnant, he made a decisive shift into the business world, joining Unilever and gradually rising to a leadership position in customer development, a path shaped by structure rather than prominence. That transition was not easy. The loss of his artistic identity brought doubt and tension, even as his private life gradually stabilized. Moore married and built a family, finding security in his daily routine and long-term plans. Over time, discipline replaced ambition, reshaping how he viewed success. Today, Andre Moore is 56 years old and no longer involved in the entertainment industry. His estimated net worth is $1.5 million, reflecting his long-term business achievements rather than his artistic legacy. His story doesn't end in fame, but in adaptation, a quiet form of survival built outside the spotlight.